Some critics also say Reverend Forbes took Riverside from being a uniquely integrated church to being more of a traditional black church, losing many white congregants and some others. How do you see your goal in that respect?
Again, I want to say, first of all, my goal is to offer a different narrative than that narrative. I do not think that's the correct narrative. I think the narrative is it was Riverside moving more fully into its experiment of truly being a multicultural congregation. And I think what began to happen with Dr. Forbes serving as the first African-American senior minister, and what will continue to happen with me being the second, is we at the Riverside Church and in our community and culture will have to have significant, serious conversations about what social privilege looks like, when particular groups feel privileged, and then when that privilege is called into question and you don't presume that one culture is superior over the other, and that creates social ferment. So what was often thought to be controversy was just the good social ferment of a genuine experiment in progress.
What's your rough ethnic breakdown on a typical Sunday morning today?
I would say we're probably in the neighborhood of around 50 to 60% black, broadly defined, and then in the neighborhood of maybe 25 to 30% Euro-Americans, with then a significant presence beginning to come in of our Latina and Latino sisters and brothers, and Asian friends as well.
It's a challenge for white people in an integrated setting to be the 30% instead of the 50%.
It does, because what that does is it creates an opportunity to challenge certain presuppositions about whose narrative, whose cultural narrative is presumed to be first. And so what we're engaged in right now is saying, what does a genuinely multicultural congregation look like when all difference is welcomed?
We've talked about everything but Rick Warren, and we have 2 minutes left. And you have spoken out very clearly against Proposition 8.
Yes.
And made clear your position that you stand in solidarity against social and legal discrimination based on sexual identity.
Yes.
In light of that, how do you feel about Obama picking Rick Warren for the inaugural invocation? Maybe he should have picked you.
I would have been honored had he done that. My response is that, first of all, in this moment, for those of us who are in the Christian tradition who want to pray for and gather around President-elect Obama, we need to show our unity as Christians, even though we might have significant disagreements around doctrine. So while on this particular issue, I am obviously on the opposite side, as it were, of Rick Warren, I want to honor the fact that this is a time for us to come together in prayer and in goodwill and to talk about these big ideas as we gather around the president to guide him, even as we say to the president, we hope that you will have a balanced spiritual perspective and that will be symbolized by people around you who represent genuine diversity concerning spiritual principles, such as the inclusion of gay and lesbian persons fully into the life of our country and our religious communities.